The last couple of days I've been following up on some recent activity of a territorial leopard. So as we've seen with this guy now, he's taken down a Blesbuck. Good morning everyone. Welcome back to Shamwari Private Game Reserve. And what a beautiful day out here. We had a little bit of rain recently, so the bush is looking just spectacular at the moment. So the last couple of days I've been following up on some recent activity of a territorial leopard in the south of the game reserve. He's a male that we see quite regularly. And I just haven't had too much luck the last couple of days. I've been coming across a lot of fresh tracks, a lot of fresh activity. We've heard him vocalizing, but I've always just been 2 seconds behind. So one of the things about identifying tracks is a few principles and rules to get right to make your life a little bit easier. Always put the track between yourself and the sun, and that way you'll get a lot more definition and shadow to make the track a lot more visible. A couple of other things that we can have a look at to help with gauging the age of a track, for example, is if we have a look at this over here, there's a whole bunch of little raindrops. We had a very, very fine, not even 1 minute of rain last night, which has speckled the ground in raindrops. This leopard's tracks are over that, so it obviously helps us gauge the freshness of that. If we have a look at what we're dealing with over here, we have a nice tiny back foot over there, and you can see those 3 indentations at the back, 1, 2, 3, so that straight away tells us it's a cat. And then we have these nice rounded little toes. There's no nail marks over the front of the toes, so it obviously pulls us away from things like cheetah and wild dogs and hyenas, that type of stuff. Obviously the fact that there's 3 bumps at the back can only put it towards a cat. Over here, a much bigger, rounder front foot, and a lot less distinction on the front foot. As a cat is busy walking, his feet hit the ground, and then as he walks forward there's a swiping motion almost, which gives a lot less definition to the front foot. If we move along the sequence over here, there's a very big overstep from the back foot, which tells us this animal's moving with pace. He's not running, he's not galloping, he's just moving with quite a fast, almost like a little jog. He was in the area last night and quite active around here, so I'm going to see if we can follow up this morning and see if we get anywhere with him. There we go. Look at that, guys. Just on the side of the bush over there. Beautiful. See just how amazing that camouflage is, even though he's just a few meters from us. Just that dappled light in that bush over there as he moves through. I mean, just so well camouflaged. It actually looks like he's feeding on something over there. He's in quite a thick bush clump. And just in this bush over here, I can see that it definitely looks like a piece of meat. The thing about leopards is they're pretty shy. I don't want to get too close. I don't want to put any pressure on the animal. The leopards are known to, if they have a kill, they'll cache it, or they'll stick it in trees or under thick bushes, and they'll feed off of it for a few days. So if we put any pressure on the animal and chase him off, we put him at a disadvantage. So I definitely want to keep my distance here. As he's busy feeding on the carcass on that Blesbuck over there, you can hear him using what's known as a carnassial shear. And this is what makes predators so efficient, and their ability to get to tough meat or sinew or bone. And it's basically paired up premolars and molars that pair up, that form almost like a scissor-like action that allow them to get and shear meat off of the bone and allow them to cut up meat into chunks before swallowing it. So as we've seen with this guy now, he's taken down a Blesbuck. He's pulled it into a bush clump, I'm not sure exactly where he would have caught that animal, but he's pulled it into that bush clump obviously to protect it, to try and keep it out of the peeking eye of any scavengers, whether it be jackals, crows, vultures, anything like that. He wants to try and keep it protected so that he can feed off of it for as long as possible. If we compare that to lions, for example, lions will also catch Blesbuck. Generally, lions are within a pride. That Blesbuck in its entirety would be gone within 2-3 hours, given our prides of lions on Shamwari. So they would absolutely demolish that carcass very, very quickly, and then they would move on. All you would find is possibly a part of the skull, lower jaw sometimes, a couple of vertebrae, and you know, the lions would even get through most of the ribs on a Blesbuck, whereas the leopard can be quite selective in what he eats. Generally they start going for the inside of the legs, the meat on the inside of the rump, into the internal organs, a lot of the high nutritional value stuff. And then if he's able to stay off of that longer, then he'll just consume more and more of the meat until most of it's gone. They will eat quite putrid meat as well sometimes. We find kills that are many days old with the leopard still busy feeding off of it. So now that he's finished having a good feed off of that, what looks like a Blesbuck kill, he's covered up with a whole bunch of branches and leaves and twigs and that, like a typical domestic cat would have done, covering something up. Your leopard often cover up a kill as a way of them trying to secure the kill for longer, trying to make sure that it's not spotted from the air by any aerial scavengers, vultures, crows. Try and mask the scent as much as possible so that they'll be able to spend as long as possible on the carcass to utilize all of the meat to its maximum. The longer he can maintain control over the carcass, the more he can utilize the meat, the better it is, and the longer it'll be before he needs to hunt again. So one of the greatest threats that leopard are facing, besides the illegal hunting and fur trade, is habitat restriction. They're only found in about 25% of their historical range. So if these guys are facing fragmented land areas and they have to cover quite considerable distances within their territory, they're going to come into conflict with people, whether it be livestock farmers or people in densely occupied areas. They're going to come into conflict with that, and that's obviously will lead to them having quite fragmented and limited ranges. Your males are territorial, as are your females, and obviously a male will try and overlap as many different female territories as possible. If you scan around over here, you're going to see we're just surrounded by these densely vegetated areas. We've got gullies over here, we've got valleys, we've got slopes, we've got these thick bush clumps interspersed with open areas. So, ideal leopard territory, but how many are here? I don't think we'll conclusively be able to give an exact number, but they are around over here, they are solitary, so the fact that you're able to find one is just such a magical treat. So you can see how fantastically camouflaged he is, just lying there in that dappled sunlight, and also with this beautiful long grass. Such a typical ambush predator. We've got all these new green shoots coming out on the side over here, and all these game trails moving along the edge over here. And this is where I think the kill would have taken place, is a Blesbuck would have been moving yesterday afternoon from feeding grounds to water. They are water dependent antelope, so they would have had to move through an area. If they found an area with good grazing, they would have been feeding on there and then had to move to water, and that is where leopard are so efficient. They don't chase after their prey very well at all, although they're a fast animal, incredibly fast, and they've got such amazing speed and agility. They can't sustain it for very long, so they're definitely an ambush predator. They have to get super close to their prey in order to be effective. Well, that was absolutely magical, guys. We spent a good couple of days following up on tracks and signs of this leopard, and we finally caught up with him. We've seen him feeding off of his Blesbuck kill this morning, and it's a hot day. He's busy lying underneath the shade, underneath that bush clump over there, But yeah, couldn't get better than that. So I think I'm going to leave him and let him carry on with his day. Hello everyone, my name's Andrew Kearney. I'm the Ranger Manager at Shamwari Private Game Reserve. I just want to take a moment to say thank you very much for all the support and feedback that we've been getting on our brand new channel, Shamwari TV. If you haven't followed us yet, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell. Stay tuned for our next episode, and I'll see you right here at Shamwari Private Game Reserve.